What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game recap. Before I get started, hit the sub button, hit the like button. Both help me out tremendously. Thank you to everybody that does like and comment. Truly appreciate it. Please comment. Don't hesitate if you're new here. If you've been with me for a while, I appreciate it. The feedback, everything. Just ask that we keep it civil. I'm not here to trash talk anything or talk down about another team. I'm going to be honest with you on my thoughts of teams. And stuff like that. But keep it civil. We can have adult baseball conversations. If you are new here, I think you'll find my takes very reasonable. I try and be sort of a voice of reason. I'm not going to go over the top screaming. There's times I'll tell you when I'm frustrated. Definitely happens. But you're not going to get hot takes every night. Baseball is a marathon. It's 162 games. We have played 49 of those. So everybody that's just in panic, take deep breaths. The Mariners get the win. They're third in a row. They defeat the A's 6-1. They win the series over Oakland. I said before the series I was fine with 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 is a 750 winning percentage. That is absolutely okay. If you do that throughout the course of the season, your good things are going to happen. Now, obviously, they've won the first 3. I want to get the sweep, and I want to win tomorrow to cap it off. So, obviously, now that we've gotten to this point, go ahead and finish it off and get that sweep. The Mariners are back over 500 at 25-24. That's really good to see. So our favorite baseball team is over 500. We are rooting for a winning team. Feels good. Hopefully they can keep it going because they've gotten here before and then they seem to fall the next day. So hopefully this is something they can keep going. Get to 2 games, get to 3 games over. They're off to a great start in this homestand. I asked for 7-3. And they're 3-0. So that leaves 4-3 the rest of the way. Now, obviously, if they win tomorrow, I hope they do better than 3-3 the rest of the way. But even though your kind of expectations can change as you go along. So like I want 7-3 homestand. Let's say they win tomorrow, they're 4-0. Obviously now I want to go 8-2 or something like that. But even if they do go 7-3, you still got to step back and go, they did what you wanted them to do. So that makes any sense at all. Let's dive into this game. I can't say enough about how Bryce Miller might be the savior of the season for the Mariners. Let me take a sip of water. And how important he has been to this season. I really don't think there's been another player. I don't want to say MVP because he hasn't made as many starts. And he's made 5 starts. But savior right now of the season might be fair. I think people underestimated the loss of Robbie Ray a little bit. Not that everyone's like, oh, whatever, but I think there was a little bit of like, okay, it happens. And you saw how much Chris Flexen struggled when he took that role or took Ray's spot. They didn't have a dominant pitcher. And they went from having 4, I don't want to say 4 possible Cy Young guys, but Kirby, Gilbert, Ray, Castillo, all guys that could be in the mix, certainly. And so far, Kirby, Castillo have been there. I'm not saying they've been the best, but you guys know what I mean by in the mix. You lose Robbie Ray, now you have Marco, and Marco's fine, but he's a 5th starter, and Chris Flex, and all of a sudden you've got 3 really good and 2 Now with Bryce Miller coming up and taking off the way he has, you're back to 4 legitimate, aces. Again, Bryce Miller's made 5 major league starts, and 2 of them have been against Oakland. But we're kind of getting back to that territory. So important for this Mariners team, a team that we knew was going to be driven by pitching. And when they lost that, they didn't lose that edge, but they lost a key cog of that. It felt like, not season over, but it definitely felt deflating. And Bryce Miller has come up, taken that Robbie Ray spot, and probably been better, so far at least. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks. No, it's Oakland. I'm not going to sit here and say that, we dominated a great team. But again, we can pick on the fact that, it's Oakland, but good teams beat bad teams. That's what you're supposed to do. You beat up on teams like that. I say in every video, you beat the bad team, beat up on bad teams. This is for all sports. You beat up on bad teams and you break even with the good ones. The Mariners are struggling at the breaking even with the good teams so far, but they're taking care of business. And Miller was fantastic against a great Braves lineup last time out too. And he's been legitimately good. It's not like he toiled through 5 innings against Oakland, walked 6, struck out 2, and wiggled off of it because they're not a good lineup. He dominated. He came out there and dominated, once again. So can't say enough about Bryce Miller. going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. Obviously, Yoshida in Boston and some others will be there as well. But there's a chance the Mariners could end up with the Rookie of the Year 3 out of 4 years. Lewis in 2020, Julio last year, and then maybe Bryce Miller this year. Bullpen did its job. I know Brash gave up a run. One could have been an error to Colton Wong. The second, the first hit, the third hit, which scored the run, Caballero probably could have been charged with an error there. It could have been a double play turn. So Brash was fine. I will say you do see some moments where he leaves some pitches out over the plate, and that's where that command isn't just about throwing strikes. It's about throwing quality pitches. And there are some pitches that Brash, that 0-2 to Jace Peterson, caught way too much of the plate. But that, we're talking about a blowout game. Brash is fine. He doesn't need to go down to AAA. You need that guy that has those strikeout capabilities. Gabe Spire and Taylor Saucedo did their jobs as well. I hope now, in this game, Pollock was lifted and so was Gino. I'm hoping there's no injuries there. Gino might just be a little banged up. And I think he's played every game this year, so just giving him maybe a little bit of, couple innings off. He was hit yesterday, maybe a little sore. They just decided with it 5-0, take him out. Good news is, obviously, Ty France, I didn't get a chance to mention in my post game yesterday. X-rays were negative, and it sounds like he could be back in the lineup tomorrow. He was doing much better today, according to Justin Hollander. JP was 2 for 5 with an RBI. Julio 2 for 5 with an RBI. Good to see Julio kind of coming out of it a bit this homestand. He reached base 4 times in game 1, reached base twice today. Gino was 0 for 3 with the walk. Colton Wong 0 for 1. Kelenic, rough day, 0 for 4. But again, Kelenic's been so good for this team. He gets a bit of a pass. Good day for Cal, 2 for 3 with a walk. Good to see that from Cal. Good for Teoscar Hernandez, 1 for 4 with the home run. Listen, I know some people are really down on Teoscar right now, and I am too. I have not been overly impressed. Some of the swings and misses have been brutal. But this is a streaky hitter. He's going to have moments where he's going to look awful. And then there's probably going to be, and I know I've said it hasn't really happened yet, but there's probably going to be a 10-game stretch where he is just in fuego and carries this team on his back. So you got to take the good with the bad with that. And we've seen more of the bad, but the home run was nice to see from Teo. Caballero, 1 for 2. Good for A.J. Pollock, 2 for 3, especially against lefties. Would love to see that bat kind of get going so they can kind of have that Pollock-Trammell platoon. And then Sam Haggerty, 1 for 3 with an RBI double. Excuse me, 2 RBI double and a walk. He left the bases loaded early in the game, but then came through the next time around against Ken Waldichuk. Good for Sam Haggerty. Just hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. Caballero's kind of taking over that role. It's going to be interesting when Dylan Moore gets back what they want to do. Caballero's not going anywhere. I know people want Colton Wong gone. Here's the thing, and this is for all teams. Teams don't like releasing players when there's an option to kind of send someone down. We saw it earlier when the Mariners sent Cooper Hummel down, right, instead of DFAing La Stella. Now, obviously there comes a point sometimes you have no other option, but usually teams will do a move that sends somebody down before releasing somebody. Part of that is these are human beings. You never, if you've ever been in that position, it stinks to tell someone they're out of a job. Now, these guys make a lot of money. They'll survive, but that's not an easy thing to do. And I know it's kind of weird talking about this in a video about baseball, but the human element does play there. You'd rather, Sam Haggerty has options. I'm assuming he does. I'm pretty sure he does. Colton Wong would have to be DFA'd. So you'd be willing to send Haggerty down for a little bit and then hope maybe Colton Wong comes back, or do you just DFA Colton Wong right away? I think you probably still send Haggerty down when Moore comes back. I know Haggerty, a lot of positional versatility and great speed. You hate to lose that. Now, maybe they DFA A.J. Pollock, something that's possible. You could send Trammell down. I just saying that is a possibility. You could make a case for Pollock just because Moore can kind of play that outfield right-handed position. That could be an option. But again, then you're talking about losing somebody. So I think the initial move is send Haggerty down. One, listen, I know we're getting into June here and Colton Wong has been awful, but there is a track record there of a pretty decent baseball player. Then the other thing is, too, if you get rid of Wong, you are so right-handed now at second base. Now, I know it doesn't matter because Colton Wong's been so bad that he can go up there without a bat and you'd get the same results. But that leaves you with Haggerty, who is much stronger from the right side, Caballero and Dylan Moore, all right-handed guys. I know Colton Wong hasn't hit righties either as a left-handed hitter, but it does give you that option. So, and then you've got to be a little bit cautious of like, does Caballero drop off? Maybe he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. Great story, great season. But you do have to be a little cautious about that. And nice game by Sam Haggerty, but he's also been pretty bad at the plate this year. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Moore coming back, Munoz coming back. I think 110 is the obvious move there as well. I know they have Prelander Baroa up right now on the taxi squad. I wonder if there was a pitcher that was just fighting some arm soreness. So they had him up just in case. He hasn't been activated yet unless I missed something. No, it's not for Matt Brash. They're not sending Matt Brash down. I'm just going to tell you right now. It's not really a smart move. Brash is your best strikeout guy. He's been absolutely BABIP'd to death. Now, some of it is on Brash. Some of it is on him. I'm not saying it's all bad luck. But they're not going to send Matt Brash down. I mean, come at me if I'm wrong, but they're not going to do that. Good game for the offense. Listen, Oakland's bad, and I feel for Oakland. I actually grew up in the Bay Area, went to a ton of games. I liked the Coliseum. I had a ton of fun there. Maybe it's just more the nostalgia for me, but dollar hot dog nights, we would tailgate in the parking lot, and nobody cared. We had a great time. I go to every Mariners A's game in Oakland. So I have nothing against the A's. In fact, if it's not the Mariners, I'd rather see the A's. I don't like Anaheim, don't like Houston. Texas is fine. Actually, again, Houston fans have been really nice to me, so, not going to jump on there. But, it's just, that's 10-41. I mean, is this the worst baseball team of all time? I mean, we might be seeing true history this year in baseball. I was texting a buddy saying the A's are just kind of boring. I'm like, they're really not. The A's are fascinating. I think if you're an Oakland A's fan, Oakland A's channel would do great to chat about this and find out. I've actually watched a lot of A's. I'm fascinated by their season. And it's not all bad. Like, I like Estri Ruiz. Noda is a guy that walks a lot, has some good on-base skills. Shea Langoliers is promising. Rooker's had kind of a breakout. I'm not big on Ken Waldichuk, although he actually did strike out 7 over 2 2/3. But Medina last night had some good stuff. JP Sears has some good stuff. Mason Miller when he's healthy. So, I mean, there is some stuff with them that's, maybe some promise. So, if you're an A's fan, hang in there. Can I relate to this? No, I've sat some bad Mariner teams. I've never sat through any that have been like historically bad, just normal bad, which in some ways is less entertaining. But, I made it through 04, 08, 2010, 2013. So hang in there. It's going to get better. There are some promising players on this team. So, and then they'll have some moves at the deadline. I think guys like, I know Tony Kemp's been terrible, but that veteran presence might get you something from somewhere. So, nice win for the Mariners. Back over 500. Chance to get a sweep tomorrow night. How about Friday? Great pitching matchup, by the way. I'm skipping ahead here, but Mitch Keller, the Pirates against George Kirby. That's going to be a great pitching matchup on Friday, so check that one out. Just the same as yesterday, same as day before, taking care of business. It's nice to see the team do that. Like I said, back over 500. Now we got to keep it going. I said it when they were over 500 before. I don't want to see them dip below. They dipped back below, but that was also going into a series against Boston and Atlanta. You got one more against Oakland. You got a Pirates team that is beatable, although Mitch Keller will be a tough test on Friday before you get the Yankees coming into town. So let's see if this team can keep this going, get this 2, 3, 4 games over 500. Then we can dive a little bit more into the playoff picture. We can start looking at it a little bit more. Until you're over 500, it's tough to look at it unless you're in the AL Central. But now being back over 500, we can keep our eyes on the prize a little bit. So I hope everybody enjoyed the game. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday night. I will see you guys all tomorrow night for the post-game recap. As always, go M's. Hope everybody has a great night. Peace.